Hey, hello, and howdy. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a great day whenever you've decided to click on this video. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a reading vlog, a little bit of a reading experience. I just had dinner, I'm here in my car, about to make some returns to Sephora, but after that, the world's my oyster, and by that I mean Hayden is not home today, so that means I get to reading vlog my little ass off, and I'm going to be reading House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. At least I think that's the name of it. For some reason, I always get Sky and Breath mixed up in my head, but it is Sky and then Breath. House of Sky and Breath. Anyway, second book in the Crescent City series. You know, I finished my reread of the first book in the series last week, and I had kind of a good time doing it. I talked about that a little bit in my wrap-up. If you want to see the spoiler-filled reading vlog that I did a couple of years ago reading this book, I'll leave that in the description down below. But, you know, today we're going to be doing the follow-up. We're gonna be doing a spoiler-filled, detail-filled reading vlog for this book, and I'm hyped for it. Full disclosure, I think I'm like 5 or 6 chapters into this book already. I'm midway through chapter 6, and I actually have it on audio, which is nice and convenient because I listened to the first book on audio both times that I read it, which was an enjoyable experience. And this time around, I'm excited to do the same, not only because I think it's going to be more enjoyable, but also because I didn't have to spend any money on this book. Hayden had an additional Audible credit this month, so like I got to get it for free and see if I like it. And if I like it, then I'll buy the hardcover. I'm growing, I'm changing, I'm evolving. So this book picks up where the last book left off. Bryce is chilling in Crescent City with Hunt. I think she has like a new job working in not a gallery, but some sort of like archive or whatever. At least that's the vibe I'm getting from the beginning of the book. And she has this like agreement with Hunt that they're not gonna have sex for like 4 months until some festival or whatever, because for some reason it's just gonna be so much more special if they wait. I thought they had sex in the last book. Am I crazy? Regardless, that was made a very big deal of. Like, we have to know. They're not fucking yet, but they might be later. Also know that they were asked, Bryce and Hunt were asked at the end of the last book by the Asteri to kind of keep quiet and like kind of chill a little bit because they were not up to no good, but they were like very in the public eye and like whatever. And the Asteri's like, hey, we're gonna let you live even though you killed a couple of people that are kind of important, or you had something to do with the deaths of these people that are kind of important. We're gonna let you live, but in exchange, you have to kind of like chill and lie low, like go back to your regular lives. And they're cool with that. So that's kind of what they're doing. But of course, things are gonna get in the way. Things have already started getting in the way. Biggest of which, Bryce kind of being popular, I guess, for being the daughter of the Fae King. She has to wear sunglasses in public because she's like too famous or whatever. So that's an aspect of the story. We kind of have a conflict there as well because Cormac, is that his name? I think it's the cousin of Bryce's half brother, so like kind of related to her, has been promised to marry Bryce by the Autumn Court King, or Autumn King? Fae King? Whatever the fuck his name is. Bryce's daddy promised to her to this man who's apparently kind of evil. So what will come of that? I don't know. Are we gonna find out that he has some like tragic Rhysand sort of backstory? I'm excited to figure it out. I'm thinking probably not, but who knows. I really don't like Hunt that much. I mean, I don't hate him, but like I'm just, every guy that comes up in these books, I'm like, is this gonna be Bryce's new love interest? I kind of skipped ahead a little bit though, because at the beginning we have this prologue that has nothing to do with Bryce Quinlan, or at least we don't think it does. We have this character named Sophie, and she is human appearing, I guess you could say, and she is like tasked with helping lead a rebel group and freeing a bunch of humans from some like bad working conditions. I don't exactly remember what was up, but I know that her brother was a part of the people that she was saving, so she like grabs a bunch of people with like her slam piece and they're like, all right, let's get on this boat, and you gotta get on the boat. She doesn't get on the boat because she's like trying to save people. I don't fucking know. And I thought that wouldn't be relevant ever again, but it has come up already because we have someone else's POV in this story, which I was not expecting. I thought we were going to be stuck with Bryce forever, which like, you know, wouldn't have been the worst thing, but now we have, I want to say his name's Therian. We have his POV, and is it interesting? No, but he's been tasked to like find Sophie, the Thunderbird. She's like, she looks like a human, but she's not really a human. She's got like powers. He's been tasked with finding her by the Undersea Queen, I think. I don't know. There's a lot of words. There are a lot of words in this book, but that's where I'm at. We also have Ethan. Ethan is, I think, the brother of Connor who died. Is Connor his fucking name? I don't remember. But we have Mr. Werewolf Man, your best friend, your dead best friend's mom. She kind of kicked me out of the pack, so can I live with you for a little bit? And she's like, of course you can. That's the chapter that I'm in right now. So hope you loved that recap. I feel like it was chaotic as fuck, but I'm interested in this book, kind of. I don't really like the other POV that we're getting right now, but intrigued to find out more about this world, and I will do that in the comfort of my own home without the semi-road noise behind me. Things are starting to come together. Things are starting to make sense. I understand why Therian is getting his own POV. Essentially, this chick named Sophie, Miss Weather Chicken herself, is missing, right? And her brother is also missing. That her brother that she was trying to save with her slam piece. She had a lover, and her lover helped free her brother and a bunch of other people. Anyway, they were like part of the rebel cause. Yeah, we've been over this. Anyway, Therian has been tasked to find Sophie, figure out what happened to her. She's supposed to be at the bottom of the ocean. She's not at the bottom of the ocean. She broke free of her lead-weighted shackles. Now, things get interesting because as Therian is investigating where Sophie is, he finds email correspondence between Sophie and, drumroll please, Danica. Therian goes to Bryce and is like, hey, did you know about this? Did you know about Weather Chicken? Did you know that she was in leagues with your dyed hair werewolfy friend? And the answer is no, Bryce did not know that. So she's kind of grappling with the fact that Danica lied to her even more than she had assumed, and that Danica was also probably in leagues with the rebels in some capacity. We don't exactly know what the details are, but now Bryce is intrigued enough to get in leagues with Therian, and then they're gonna like team up or something. But it's like not so great that they do this because they're supposed to be lying low. Remember what the Asteri told them, like, hey, you should maybe not be doing this? Yeah, they're not gonna fucking listen to that, obviously. Additionally, Hunt also has his own storyline where he's having to work with people who he's not totally loving. So, at the beginning of the book, or the end of the last book, we know that some of the senior leadership in town has been slaughtered and or murdered by Bryce Quinlan. There's a new city head, and she's really cool, and we like her, and we think she's great, except for there's not enough Triari in the city, so basically like war angels. There's not enough of them in the city, or I guess you could say angel cops. So she ends up bringing Triari that used to work under Sandriel? I don't know. Whatever like the evil twin angel was from the last book, like her Triari, like they're in town and they're going to be a part of Crescent City. Triari, and Hunt's not super thrilled about this because he has to work with people he doesn't like, and that is also complicating things. So that's where I'm at. We're living, loving, and loving. We've also had an interaction with our favorite demon daddy, which we love to see. I can't remember exactly what he said. I just know that it was like maybe a little bit important, but oh wait, I do remember what he said. He was kind of trying to explain to Bryce what her powers mean, because we know that she is more powerful than her half-brother, even though he is supposed to be like the heir to the throne. We know that the power, that the Starborn power, is actually like descended from like the matrilineal side of things. Like the original Starborn Fae was a woman. The story that everybody has been told that it was like this man, apparently he's the worst, and it wasn't actually him, and that his power was just not as great as the lady. I don't know what that'll lead us to, but he says that Bryce needs to like embrace her Starborn power, figure it out, and then rebel. And so there's a lot going on, and I think what we're leading to is kind of figuring out what Weather Chicken's up to, kind of maybe getting on her side, understanding her side of things. I think I'm curious to see if she's going to be like an integral player, or if we're just literally trying to find her, and then along the way Bryce is going to have her own like personal discovery of like, you know what, I'm important and I need to help the rebel cause. We'll see, right? We'll see. I think what's really standing out to me at this point is that I don't care about Hunt at all. I don't think that he is not a compelling character. Like, I think he's fine, but I just think the romance between him and Bryce is just not something I'm into. This is gonna sound bad. Like, I appreciate their communication, but it's so fucking boring. Like, where is the sexual tension and the angst here? Like, sure, they're not having sex, but that's not enough sexual tension and angst for me. Like, where's the wooing? Where's the swoon-worthy moments? Because I'm not seeing it, and I wonder if this is just a setup, and I wonder if Hunt's gonna die at the end of the book. That would be really, really nice. I think. That's so mean, but like, you know, just give me something good. On top of that, I don't think I've said this yet, but I actually have not been spoiled for this book yet, which I think is a very rare and unique experience. I think most of my friends who are excited to read this followed a lot of people who like got arcs of this and, you know what's going to happen or know the end. I have no idea what's going to happen, so I'm just spitballing here and kind of telling you things as I read and, you know, my experience, which is so much more fun than getting spoiled for a book. So I'm going to keep reading. As you can probably tell, Nugget's purring. I think he wants dinner, so we're gonna dinner it up, and then I think I'll probably just update you one more time tonight, and then we can get cracking tomorrow. I think my goal is to like read this over the next 3 days so that I can post this vlog for you on Sunday. I'm saying it right now so that I hold myself accountable. I'll be back. How does one ride one's mouth? Well, I guess you wouldn't be riding your own mouth. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I preferred the mountain shaking orgasms. Something about Sarah J. Maas's writing smut is just not really it for me. I mean, like, good for Hunt for getting a little mouth fun, but like, I do have actual updates though. We found out that Bryce's step cousin, who was like destined to fuck her or whatever, he's actually the slam piece of Sophie. And apparently the reason that he's in Crescent City is because he's trying to find out what happened to her. And I mean, also he's like, you know, trying to be engaged to Bryce because he's like, oh, it's like, you know, it's what I'm supposed to do. But he's really just trying to like further the rebel movement. And so that's kind of what his deal is. So he's not actually an asshole. I mean, he's an asshole, but like, you know, he's got a purpose. He's not just trying to like ruin Bryce's life, which is nice. Do I like the interconnectivity of all of the characters in this book? I feel like it's a little too convenient, and I think it would have been cool to have like a couple of different plots going at once, because basically what it is we're trying to find Sophie, and that's pretty much it. I guess we're kind of trying to figure out why Danica was lying about, not even lying, why she didn't tell Bryce shit. Other than that, like, that's just like the book's just it's kind of boring, I guess. One thing too that I'm noticing is that like this book and the last book are kind of mysteries, and I don't know that I like it. I kind of prefer a more traditional fantasy plot. I really preferred the way that like ACOTAR and Throne of Glass were laid out. Like, obviously there were secrets to unfold, but it didn't feel like the plots of those books were mysteries. And it's weird to say that because I like a good mystery. It's like kind of one of my favorite types of plots, but I just don't think I like mysteries in a fantastical sense for the most part. Give me some action, give me something interesting. I don't want 600 pages of them just kind of like piddling around until the end of the book where they're like, oh shit, action battle scene that comes out of nowhere. A quarter of the way into the book, maybe a little bit farther. I'm on chapter 21. I've got 6.5 hours left. Feeling good. I'm thinking like 3 hours tomorrow, 3 hours Friday. You know, we love a timeline. We love a plan. I'll see you tomorrow. Pardon the tear-clumped lashes. I'm having quite the day. And I can't say that this book is really adding to that. I don't really have much to say. Oh, do you like my iPad coloring back here? It is incomprehensible the amount of dislike that I have for Sarah J. Maas's explicit sex scenes. Like, I just don't understand why you would include the detail that Bryce is going to be sweaty and her tilapia is going to have a pungent odor when Hunt with his super smell is going to feast, if you will, on her picnic. Is this supposed to depict some sort of like extreme devotion? Are we supposed to find this hot? I'll be honest, I'm not finding it hot. There's a lot I could say. I don't find that sexy. That's just a personal preference thing. Maybe you think it's really hot. I don't think it's really hot. I don't think any of the sex scenes here have been particularly delicious, which is disappointing because if I'm going to read an explicit Sarah J. Maas book, maybe something good, and I'm not getting that. I like how I'm opening up today's vlog clips with this rant. I don't have anything of value to say other than that, except for like, what the fuck is with this Nancy Drewing? I'm just sick of it. I want some plot. I want some action. I want my dogs not to growl. If I look like I kind of just woke up, that's because I did. It's like 10 o'clock. I am at Target picking up some last minute things. My in-laws are going to be in town this weekend, which is why I'm trying to get this video done today. It's Friday, but I think we'll be able to. I only have 3 hours left in this audiobook, and I don't know how to feel about it. Like, a lot has happened since we last spoke, and yet nothing has happened at the same time. There have been like two big, I don't want to say climaxes or conflicts, but I guess like two large-ish things that happened. The first is that Bryce and Hunt decided to go to the underworld with the Underking. I think earlier on in video I was calling the like Sea Queen the Under Queen, but that's not what she is. So they're deciding to go to hell, not hell, whatever it is. They're gonna go to the underworld and see if they can find out what happened to Danica and the Pack of Devils. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't understand why that matters. I think maybe I'm just missing something big. I guess maybe in the comments let me know like what I'm missing, but I just don't understand in the big scheme of things why it fucking matters. Because like, sure, you don't want your friends to go to hell, and sure, you want their like eternal souls to be at rest, but like, they're dead at the end of the day. I feel like if I were dealing with large conflicts in my present day, I don't know that I'd care so much about like the afterlife of people. Maybe that's fucked up. Didn't really super care about that. I guess the only information that we really gleaned is that he is wanting to come to the surface and like kill a bunch of people or something, gain his power back. It seems like everybody that we come into contact with in this story is like, you know what, I am ready for an all-out war and battle. And you're like, okay, like, it's gonna happen eventually, but like, you're getting a little too excited too quickly. So we have that scene, and then we have interesting interactions between some of our side characters. I am really liking Rune's relationship and or like intel gathering. So he is talking to someone who he doesn't know, who has like insider information about kind of like the rebel cause, and yeah, he doesn't know who she is. They've kind of been talking, and I'm feeling some chemistry between them. I'm liking it. The scene that I just listened to, he has his like head in her lap. I mean, not like physically because he's never met her, but like, I don't know, I like it. I think it's fun. I like them. Also, we have Ethan who goes to an oracle with Bryce to again try to find out what's happened to the Pack of Devils. He finds out not really anything from the oracle except for another dude in hell, like the deepest pits of hell, is like, you know what, I'm also gearing up for like an exciting wartime. You're just like, y'all are a lot to handle. We do have him coming into contact with a wolf who's being kept in this like, I kind of think of it as, what are those things called, like sensory deprivation chambers, you know, where you like float in salt. I don't know why the fuck people like that, but there are a few different people who are being used for their seer abilities. He like tortures he? The guy who's in charge of them, the astronomer, there's like 3 people in tanks, and he uses their minds to basically like comb through things and use them as like, you know, oracles or whatever. Ethan comes into contact with one of them. He finds out she's a wolf, and he's like, I'll free you. And she's like, you can't really though, so leave me here. I'm doing this for my family. And you can tell that there's some tension there, and that like perhaps she could be a love interest between them. I think what's interesting to me is that the chemistry between Ethan and this wolf, and Rune and Day, I think is her like code name, it's just much more compelling and interesting than the relationship between Bryce and Hunt. And I think that's a good transition into, I think, what's been bugging me about this book up until this point. Like, we find out that Bryce and Hunt are mates, right? It's hinted at that they want to be mated, or like they really love each other. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is foreshadowing that they will not actually be mates, and we're gonna find out that she has a different mate instead. And that is not the case. We do find out later that they are technically mated, and that their scents are mingling and all this shit. And I'm like, please tell me that Bryce and Hunt are not endgame, because I'm so fucking bored of it. I'm not liking it. And here's the deal. Like, I love romance. I love a romance in a fantasy. It's kind of what keeps me going, and I think the reason why I'm not as excited about this book is because the main romance at the center is not very romantic. There's been little to no relationship development. I guess you could call parts of the first book like relationship development as they're spending time together and as she's like learning about his past, but I'm sorry, I just don't buy the chemistry between the two of them. And the sex scene that they have when they're aboard this like submarine ship kind of thing, I just like, no, it just wasn't for me. Also, I don't know if I said this already on here. You know what? I think I did. Bryce's stank. Nothing about it is working for me. Their relationship, that is. The book is not like not working for me. It's just like, meh. And then I kind of hinted at it, but there was another sort of altercation, I guess you could say, between the gang. I'm just gonna call them that, like Therian, Bryce, Hunt, I don't know who else is with them at this point, Rune maybe? Them and the H's. I don't remember which of the H's was there, like the Hind, the Harpy. Here's Sarah. Sarah, can you please, with the alliteration, I don't know who the fuck these people are. I can't keep them straight. There's already a million characters in this book. Can you please, for me, calm down with that shit? We do find out quickly after, because they're like saved and put on this ship by some people. I don't remember the people are. They're on this ship after this altercation, because this altercation took place at sea. They're on this ship, and they find out that whoever's on the ship saved Sophie, and by saved I mean like recovered her corpse. Cormac's a little upset, a little sad that his Slampy is also dead. Yeah, I don't know where the story is heading from here, honestly. It seems like all of the like conflicts have been a little bit all over the place. It doesn't feel like they're all tied together really neatly. I mean, I understand the point for all of them, kind of. I just don't know that it is working towards like a really cohesive plot. We have 3 hours left, which I think is like, let's see, I don't know how much percentage. I think I'm like a little over 50% of the way through this book, and like, it's not bad. I wanted there to be something more. And it's interesting to me because from everything that I've seen, a lot of people say plot of this book is better, but the romance is not. And I'm like, well, fuck, like, why did I sign up for this? But you know what? I'm invested enough to finish it. Like, I'm going to finish the book, and I'm just hoping that the last, like, I was gonna say 100 pages. Like, I'm not reading this physically, but I'm hoping that the last, like, hour or so of this book is interesting and compelling, because so many people say, like, oh my god, I cried. So maybe I will. I am going to make the thumbnail of this video me freshly showered, reacting to the last part of this book. So, not that anyone cares, but you're gonna be seeing me in various states of like dirtiness as I clean my home, preparing for my in-laws to come as I listen to this audiobook. So, I'm gonna be doing that for the rest of the day, and then at the end of the day, I will, you know, get cute and we can talk about the last part of this book. So, I'm gonna go into Target and get light bulbs and some other assorted accoutrement. I will be back. Well, this is my third attempt at filming this clip. I have makeup on, which means I've gotten farther into House of Sky and Breath. And I wish I had a lot to say, but I don't. Things have happened, but nothing of interest, I feel like, has really happened. So, first off, Bryce and Hunt end up going to this ball with Cormac. I think like Cormac and Bryce are supposed to be going together, but Hunt kind of tags along. And at this ball, Bryce announces that she's actually mated to Hunt, which pisses off both the Fey King and Cormac. So that's pretty dramatic. Also, there's sort of like tense moments because the Asteri show up in like drones or something. I don't really understand how they like are there but also not there at the same time. They basically say some kind of like cryptic shit. They seem to be a little bit irritated at the fact that Bryce and Hunt are together, but anyway, regardless, this ball is a time of tension, I guess you could say, but nothing really comes of it. Like, there is this sort of scene between Rune and one of the H's, who I can't remember which one it is, but like, he is trying to meet up with Day at this ball. They're like gonna rendezvous at midnight at this fountain, but he shows up and then one of the H's is there and he's like, fuck, I don't want Day to get caught. So he ends up not meeting her at the fountain. So from there are clues that get uncovered and things that happen that are not really that interesting. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I just am not sold on where the story is going. I'm just bored. So of course, Danica is a key yet again to what's happening. Whenever the body of Sophie was found, she had carvings on her arms. They were like numbers and letters and no one really knew what they meant. But for some reason, Axiom, I don't actually know how to say his name because the audiobook narrator doesn't differentiate well between M's and N's. He ends up coming across them as they're like doing some like rebel activity. I say them. Rune, Hunt, Bryce, you know, the whole gang. He comes across them and he sees, or he is told about these markings on Sophie, and he's like, oh shit, I actually know what that means. And he reveals that he was actually mated to Danica, and that Danica was helping Sophie, and Sophie got into the archives, these like really hard to crack archives, and found some information. And that's why she carved this on her arm. Apparently it's important information. And we know that Danica was trying to find out information about her bloodline and about the kind of the origins of the Asteri and the origins of the Veneer in general. We're thinking that maybe the texts that Sophie was trying to uncover had something to do with that and something that would maybe help the rebel cause in general. So on the one hand, I can appreciate certain things that this book is attempting to do. On the other hand, I'm not loving the cheap cop-out of always having Danica being the key to things. Like, Danica's dead, and I'm hoping to God she doesn't come back from the dead. I think I would like the story more if the information was being revealed in more interesting ways. I feel like it's not groundbreaking, it's not interesting. There have not been very many things that have surprised me or interested me. I just don't see that changing as the story carries on. There have been some close calls. Bryce has had to like teleport people out of places, but nothing really feels high stakes because the action is just a little bit one note, I guess you could say. Like, okay, comparatively, the Axar series, right? There are a lot of small moments of like fear and tension, but everything kind of crescendos at the end of the series, right? In this high fantasy series, I still feel like that's something that should happen. Like, we should only have one really large action sequence and it should be at the end of the book. The scenes leading up to that can have like moments of tension, but everything, it's like nothing feels important. Everything feels one note. And I don't think that whatever is going to happen at the end of this book is going to feel very powerful either. I felt the same way when I read House of Earth and Blood. I just didn't feel like the ending of that story was particularly powerful. I know a lot of people were like really impressed by the drop and by Bryce saving her city, but I don't know. I just don't know that Sarah J. Maas can write a good high fantasy story. I just don't know that it's something that I think is being done particularly well. Because each individual book doesn't seem very well plotted, so I'm wondering how that can lead to this giant overarching story. I think like 3-book arcs are kind of her thing and she should maybe stick to it. I'm going to keep reading. I'll update you. Hopefully not one more time. Hopefully more than that, but frankly, the way things are going, I don't know. Let's see if I can cry. I might be impressed. I might be impressed by Miss Maas. So, I don't remember exactly what I said last time, but everybody is teaming up and going to Midgard? I don't know. It's wherever the Asteri are, wherever the archives are. They're gonna go and they're gonna find them and they're gonna find out what Sophie and Danica discovered, right? And Rune is also going to try and save Day, who is also there. So we get there, Bryce finds the archives and she finds what Danica and Sophie have discovered, which is that the Asteri are not just evil overlords, they have been funneling different species from different worlds into the world that they're currently on, and they're using the different creatures for their magical powers so that the Asteri can be sustained for forever, right? Which is kind of cool. I mean, horrible, but like interesting. And we find out that the demons of hell, like the kings of the underworld, I suppose you could say. God, what's that? Adis? I can't remember his name. The cat is one of the princes of hell? I don't fucking know. They have been trying to stop the funneling of people onto this planet because they know the Asteri are evil. They kind of helped lead a rebellion while they were not completely successful and while they were kind of like banished to the underworld for forever. I don't really know the mechanics and logistics of that. They are wanting to rise again against the Asteri, and Bryce is like, what the fuck? Like, all of this information is coming at her and she's like, wow. She's seeing maps of planets that have been conquered or obliterated or just not used because their people were not powerful enough. Honestly, kind of cool. I wasn't really expecting this. I mean, I knew that the Asteri were up to some fuck shit, but I didn't expect it to be this level, so very intrigued. At this point, Bryce is like, I'm gonna fucking kill you to one of the Asteri, so I'm curious to see what goes down, and okay, maybe this is moving in a direction that I'm liking. Okay, maybe it is. Motherfucker. I didn't cry, but I did get emotional. What the fuck? Like, I actually impressed by that ending. How is this gonna happen? How is this going to work? I am so curious. I'm so confused. I'm loving it. Okay. Go to the archives. They have found out this information. They know that there are different worlds. We find out too that the Fae and the Shifters are actually kind of similar. I don't think they come from the same planet, but they have similar powers and like they basically are the same. And so this sort of like artificial barrier between the two of them, it just doesn't make sense, right? Like it's silly to have them kind of parted on the planet that they're on the country and, you know, whatever. It's just the Asteri's way of like keeping people separate so that their powers won't be as strong, right? And they can't like band together. Now, as this altercation is happening between one of the Asteri and all of, you know, the gang that decided to come to Midgard, we get Bryce thrown into the pits of hell, essentially. Not even thrown into the pits of hell. A portal kind of opens up and she runs into it. And it's not the pits of hell. She meets the gang. The actual gang. What? I don't even know what to say. I like did expect this to happen eventually, but I didn't expect it to happen in this book, and I didn't expect it to happen this quickly. But apparently we're getting a little bit of, yeah, I don't even, God damn it. Janet. Bryce meets Reese and Farah and everybody from the ACOTAR series, and we find out that it's likely that she and her Fae people came from whatever planet that, you know, Reese and Farah and all of them are on. That's like the Fae planet, and, you know, since people are being like funneled from worlds onto Pangera. Is Pangera the name of the planet, or is it the country? I don't know. I'm just gonna call it the planet. So she meets them, and she's like, she gets like captured by someone at first, and I don't know who took her. I want to say it was Azrael, maybe? Someone takes her, and she's speaking in her language, and they're like, we don't know who the fuck you are. So then she starts speaking in the ancient Fae language, and they're like, no one has spoken that language in like many, many years. And so you're like, wow, she must have her people on this Fae planet, where Farah and Reese and them are, has been separate from the planet that Bryce is on for like a very, very long time. And I am so curious. How are these plot lines going to converge? I don't know. Is the next book going to be another book in the Crescent City series? Is it going to be another book in the Court of Thorns and whatever series? Like, much to think about, much to consider. And then we also have an epilogue where Ethan, he has been kind of like trying to protect the wolf that is in the like sensory deprivation tanks or whatever, because he finds out that she's actually the last of the Fendir line other than Sabine, and she is listening to Ethan, I guess, and is like gonna, you know, coming out of her tank. She's doing just fine. Fuck, man, I don't even know what to say. I really don't know what to say, because I was really like, I don't know what's happening this entire book. It felt really messy and a little chaotic, and I stand by the fact that it feels that way, but frankly, that ending really just has me considering what my rating is. And I never thought that I would be saying this, but I think I'm actually gonna give this book 4 stars, which, after all the shit I've been talking, I say that. Y'all know me, right? Maybe you don't. I think it's interesting to see the people that comment on my videos, and some people like just totally get me, and you get my personality and the way that I speak and the like critique and criticisms that I give for things, and then other people think I'm really, really mean, and like I mean every single thing as like a harsh criticism, and I don't know why I'm trying to explain this to you, but I think it feels maybe incongruous to like see this vlog and then know that my rating's a 4-star rating. But yeah, honestly, this was kind of fun. I didn't anticipate reading this book, to be honest with you. Like, I wasn't really hyped for the release, and then of course I bought into the hype and I decided to pick it up, and I'm glad that I did. That free Audible credit really just came in and came through. I feel like I should leave you with some sort of like profound thoughts and feelings about this story. I don't have any. If this weren't a spoiler-filled reading vlog, I would tell you, if you have any interest in this series, pick it up. Or if you like kind of felt wishy-washy about the first one, then maybe pick up the second one just to see if it improved for you. This was a time to be alive. Hopefully you appreciated my commentary. Love y'all so much. I'm gonna go. Until next Sunday.